For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.
Pick of upsets, clear favourites, and 100th game who had all the signs of Sharks lost, but the boys got the job done. Whew. Welcome to the ET Stand, the Sharks fans podcast where we let all our talk in football. We're in places, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys want us to be. If we aren't there, let's try and be there. While listening, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps with everything we do. While we've also hijacked a Discord channel where Sharks fans can chat 24/7 Sharks and any other malarkey you feel like you need to. The link will be in the chat in a moment and we'll pop it in the description below. Also, don't forget, we've unlocked this thing called Super Chats. Use it or don't. It's up to you. Help support the team. We also welcome people who want to dial in and chat. The link in the comments now. I'm streaming from a random location with a quasi in-person live audience, and my laptop hooked up to a car battery to try and get us over the line. Partly my dodgy camera and my dodgy audio. Apologies, but enough about me. Joining me on the debrief is someone who is probably up well past his bedtime. CK, how are you, mate? And did you enjoy that game?
Mate, you can see it's not the light. I'm very sunburnt today. A lot of yard work was done today. So a break was put on to watch the game and with a few other Sharks. And it was a really good game.
Gosh, it was certainly one that, as I mentioned at the top there, with all the hallmarks of a loss, I was biting my nails. Did you think we had it in the bag from minute one?
First 20 minutes, I thought we were the sharper team. We looked a lot better. We looked a lot fitter. We looked a lot more interested. I thought we were all over the cows. And then, not confident we were going to kick on. Even when it came to a bit of a dodgy try there to the young centre there for the Cowboys, I wasn't really concerned. It was I knew we'd kick on with it.
Awesome. I love the confidence. We've got a comment here. I'm just going to have to call up comments already. But Younger says, the audio Franko. At least that's something that we've got for maybe the audio listeners. They don't have to look at this dodgy, fuzzy camera. It's clearly not high definition, some kind of Egyptian goodness going on in the background. Happy days with all of that. Let's have a quick run through some of the key moments of the match before getting into some banter. 8 minutes in, after a couple of messy plays through the hand, decoy, but otherwise nothing extraordinary in the play, except for Iro shrugging off 3 would-be tacklers close to the line before slamming the ball for 4 points. What do you reckon on that one, mate?
I was sitting here with another Sharks fan, my brother-in-law, and that was just all Eero all the way through, or as Boldo calls him, Horodi, either which way. It was just pure strength to shrug off 3 tacklers and go himself and get over the line. So a really good, strong try to start the game.
Brilliant. All right, now we've had conflicting issues here. Frank says, Franko, back. Well, I'm sorry, Frank. Maybe other people can chime in and let me know what is fact and what is fiction here. Hopefully it's not too bad, guys, and you can survive, and it's not too bad. And the 23rd minute, after a repeat set, the Sharks have a few big runs at the line, along with a nice decoy run, and one of them being from AFB. That seems to be a bit of a common thread here, with him being a pretty massive decoy, big target for the defence to using that this season. He ducks in some defenders also. On the play of the ball, Brayley runs to Nakora, who does Nakora things and scores a try. He gets Spidey Wilshires out at the end and celebrates. Obviously, big crush on Nakora. So pretty happy to see him do that. And, he's been doing this spiderweb celebration now a couple of times. Do we think his kid loves Spider-Man or he loves Spider-Man. I'm not quite sure there, but since I love Spider-Man, well, bonus.
In the ground, but I was definitely cheering because gamble responsibly. But Lats and I both had him in a multi, so it was quite exciting, and yeah, kept the game rolling. So I was pumped that Nicola got over.
Very good, awesome. In the 26th minute, we have an error coming out of our end after points with Ramian tapping the ball out over the sideline. Stone Street was too far ahead of the play to turn and regather. And nothing set from the Cowboys have Duffy put up a bomb which bounces on Stone Street and Tuolagi into the arms of Perud, who scores. Really just an opportunistic try from the Cowboys. Not much we could have done there except for not making a mistake coming out of our own end.
Fortunate, what can you do against a Falcon? Like, it's probably one of the best players in rugby league can get away with. I don't know why we don't players don't try it more. You think, we've seen successful soccer players do it. You put a bomb across, have a little header, get the ball forward, and let the bounce for a bit of luck. So instead of trying the little Statue of Liberty tap back, you might as well go for a bit of a header and knock it forward and go from there. But yeah, it was hard. I thought it might have caught a bit of shoulder, a bit of arm, but obviously on replay it was all head and a bit of shoulder, and just one of those funny bounces of the ball. You just got to cop it, and too bad.
Yeah, agreed. Too bad, so sad. SJD says that I am doing my best impersonation of a phone call breaking up. So we'll see if holding my mic up. We'll try and work something out on the fly, guys. Trying to bring you what we can with best we can. Maybe send a few more of those super chats to help us pay for better mics.
Decepticon impersonation, so.
In the 29th minute, the reverse happens with the Cowboys making an error after points. We swing it wide on the last tackle play where the Cowboys look to be going deep into the line and get the ball out Stone Street on the sideline, who crosses over untouched. It was a pretty good try, but really Cowboys were nowhere. Had no idea what to do trying to defend this one. It looked pretty dire for them.
Touched on it. Cowboys, the new lineup with no Kyle Felt, no Val Holmes, kind of losing Nanai. They're always going to be exposed in those back areas, so that's where we expose them.
Yeah. In the 45th minute, Nico catches it on the full in goal and sprints to the 20. He dishes it out to Stone Street, who shows his speed, but he's pulled down about 10 out. There's a professional foul on Perud for mucking around in the play of the ball. For 10, we then drop the ball not long after it, and as history will now show, we can really make them pay for that without outside of the usual fatigue and tiring them out for the rest of the game. So we'll talk about it later, but it wasn't anything. We sort of bombed an opportunity there, I think. That's in the 57th minute, though. Kennedy off a bomb. He gets around the initial bases and runs for 30. He finds Stone Street, who goes off another run for about 30 before being brought down. We take advantage of the break going from one side to the other with Will scoring in the corner. It was really nice to see. Any time for a length of the field try and something like this, everyone's out of their seats and back in the horse home. So this is pretty awesome. I really enjoyed this one.
It was great to see. So yeah, fine.
Yeah. 4 minutes later, 5 out, I play the ball. Trindle fakes to the inside ball to Teague and goes out to Kennedy, who hits Militalo on the chest to score. This was just a good play of people in motion. Another one that we're starting to get strides here. I'd say that we were a bit scrappy this game, so maybe missed our mark. But there was a period of play here. This included that we didn't seem to be on song. I think that could have come from the fouls being a bit off the back, being a man down. But it really did start to look a bit good. We looked a bit switched on here.
Frustrating. Well, I'm sure we'll go into it in the Sinbian area. They looked like the better team during that, but obviously a bit of fight, and Ronnie secures the win for me in my multi and pretty much shut the gate by that stage. So I'm very happy by that stage.
Love it. In the 73rd minute, play the ball is out in front of the posts. Brayley to Hines, Hines to Trindle to Stone Street, who scores in the corner. Quick hands and easily get around the opposition. This was one of those training run plays, I think. Everyone likes to throw out there. It was just really slick, really smooth. The opposition really didn't do much as opposed to being opposed defence. So, yeah, good to see that we were able to execute something like that in those conditions.
Obviously mentioned in commentary, they had a few second rowers and front rowers out in that wide position. We just expose them. And again, we talked about it. We're always going to expose them on those edges. Like you look at the tries, we're through two Stone Street, one to Ronnie, the other one to Nicora, like all on the edges. It was, and Teague as well out on the edge. So, yeah, easy to expose where their weakness was, really.
4 minutes to go, a short kickoff from the Cowboys. They knock it back and regather, gets to drink water, and he shrugs off Kennedy and gets around a number of others. It's a bit embarrassing. We're in front. Some can say with the heat and fatigue, it's not the worst thing to have happened. But yeah, it's not a great look.
Back later in the season in regards to for and against and things like that. But you missed the greatest part, the goal attempt just before that. I think the team was on a high. Obviously, Talakai taking the goal attempt. I thought it was going to go over. I thought it was a nice little stab kick and hits the post and comes back. So I think the team had wrapped up by that stage. It was 4 minutes. But yeah, it's frustrating to concede one of them. But, you know, the Cows, they've done nothing all night. Hadn't really threatened. And that's, you know, look, they got a try off a lucky bounce and a try off a short kick-off. So we'll cop that.
I'm not entirely sure there, CK. I think that kick was after the 2 minutes later and another couple of six agains. The Sharks are running in and out all over the park. They play the ball about 5 out, just left of the posts. Brayley sends it to Hines, who gives it to a hard-running Iro going against the grain, who busts through the defensive line to score. Off the back of that, I see Talakai take a goal for, I'm guessing, his 100th game. So yeah, he's winning 36-12 with Nico kicking 4 from 6 and Talakai on his 100th game missing his one attempt. Good. That's
I forgot the great Euro try right at the end. I forgot it was the Talakai conversion was after that. It was a great try. He looked a bit ginger after he got a bit sandwiched when he went down, but again they exposed that short side and just where the Cows are looking really tired and just sort of put the icing. But yeah, it's I enjoyed the Talakai kick. It was great. I thought it was great theatre.
Yeah, no, it was
well
awesome.
done to the guy.
And it's funny because I have read he's actually a lot at the training, and as a junior, so to see that his first grade record stands at 1 out of 3 is not great, because you think he's hopefully getting some easier attempts, but yeah, keep kicking those goals, Talakai. I'll back you, mate. You're the great man who can do anything.
I was cheering and I was like, oh no, it swung away. And as me and Bottle say, can you believe it? It hit the upright. So we had 2 of those goals obviously tonight. Hit the upright. It's been unfortunate. Good to see Nico back kicking goals as well. So it means he's a little bit healthy. And yeah, we'll hope it's in there again.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've got our first dial in. We've been patiently waiting through that run through. Williams 2.0, definitely a regular darling. We'll bring him in and see what he has to say.
Good.
Welcome, Williams 2.0.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are we, sir? Did you enjoy that?
I'll just start with the fact that CK has better internet than you is an impressive feat for the first debrief. Well, technically the second debrief. It's quite incredible. Enjoyed it. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, but you could tell there's still some things they got to work on. But yeah, overall, I think we were too fast, too strong. Somehow flying back from Vegas didn't affect us. Although, if anyone heard Fitzy's presser, 5 of the boys had COVID on the way back. 5 of the boys had influenza A on the way back. So the fact he said he didn't want to say it's pre-game because it would have been used as an excuse if they had lost. But the fact we could go out there and smack them around for 80 minutes pretty much is If that's the case, then that's pretty decent. Like, if half the team's sick, then
It must be
got
tough in
no
business class.
excuses.
If you're getting COVID in business class, must be tough going.
They must have been on the WAS bus with you, CK.
I just got withdrawals, is all.
I think, well, I mean, considering in years gone by, if anyone has COVID or some kind of flu runs through the team, that's almost been put a line through them, they're done. So, yeah, it's very good to see that that's happened. And especially, as I mentioned earlier, that heat and that humidity. It was certainly a game that was
83% humidity too. So a couple of friends went up there and they were telling me it was pretty warm before the game. So 83% humidity on probably a short week based on the sickness that's gone through them. Can't really fold them with a 24-point score line. So
it was certainly a game that was played. I mean, this might offend some people, but it seemed to be played at half speed. It was especially when you compare it to other games, it was a bit slower. There were some moments that obviously the intensity lifted as needed, but overall, I think if you do a cross section, the game was played under fatigue, and it was shown. So I think from our team, there were certainly a couple of players that could have been playing any day in any weather conditions that just didn't seem to affect them. One of those was Brayley. He was just going a million miles an hour, even after popping that knock on his calf.
Did anyone else's heart skip a beat when he went down? Looked like he did his ankle ligaments or broke an ankle or something. He's launched back. I'm like, oh God. Even my kids were like, what the hell? What's wrong with him? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. Don't worry about it. As soon as you see him running, it's not a leg, it's not a serious injury, and he was like putting pressure on it. I think a couple of days rest, he'll be fine. But definitely heart in the mouth kind of moment with his was it up to 106, 107 games straight.
Yep, he's
getting there. We're going to have to bring in the 2-game veteran from reserve grade up next week.
I mean, hey, some would maybe take that, but some want the streak to continue. Come on, Brayley, don't slow down now. But he just gave a wholehearted effort. He would know there was a hot day, huge. He was just awesome to see. Now, 2.0 for those new to the channel and those that need a rider is by far Stone Street's fan in this community. I'll give a little bit of a that I thought would be really fascinating. Many of the breaks, many of the runs or flashy stuff. Through this half, the Cowboys dropped the ball. The Cowboys dropped the ball all over the shop, but this particular dropped ball, Stone Street's eyes lit up. It was as if he wanted to drive through, kick it, try and pick it up and go the length and score. And I was like, yes, this is going to be great. But he checked himself, had a look around, let the Cowboys dive on the ball, and then tackled it. At the stat play and sort of giving us the ball back, one play later. That was a bit of maturity from us. I don't know if it's a bit early in the career to start talking about maturity and development of play, but if we're going to be saying that he's going to be in the team for 3/4 of this season, that kind of stuff is good development to play the numbers game a little bit, so to speak, right? Even on long breaks, he wasn't looking for crazy offload or anything. Not that anyone else in our team could really catch him, but it sort of seemed to show that he's thinking about more than just trying to score a try. What do you think?
I think he's still got a little bit to learn.
Plenty.
I'm his best man. I'd be his best man at his wedding if he asked me to. Don't know jack about him, but he's a great bloke. He's a great player. Defensively, catching those bombs, he's got a little bit to work on because you can see the guys. I saw it first in the trial. I think it was against the Warriors, where he just jumped straight up instead of taking a bit of a run and jump. Where the guy coming through, has all the momentum, can knock him off the ball. And I think it was 50-50. I don't know if it came off their neck or the head in the first try. Doesn't really matter in the end of the day. We won by 24 points, but he got a bit to work on. I think he can bulk up a little bit and get those more powerful carries. But with that specific play, it shows maturity in a way that he's not always looking for the white line, where I think the best wingers in the comp, you need to be looking for the try line the whole time. I know in a Discord channel, some absolute newbie, I don't know who you are, absolute giving it to him at no speed. Running an 83% humidity is not great after 50 minutes. So let's be honest. But, I saw some stats before. I think he had the top run meters about 244, 4 line breaks, 2 tries. Are we really going to question him?
No, I think Hugh in the Discord server, I think he deserves MVP nearly.
I thought it was Lats that's taken up the absolute piss out of me. I thought he was just having a G up.
I was happy to see someone else give you a bit of stick there that wasn't Lats or me.
Give me stick
or
if he's
CK.
putting up 244, 4 line breaks, 2 tries a week.
I mean,
no one's got anything to say about it, have they? They're to say what could have happened. Okay, we could have won by 50, but
my internet must have been really bad, because you said he had 2 tries long before he scored his second try.
No, well, yes, 204. Based on the stats, I've got it next to me.
He does now have 2
meters,
tries.
4 line breaks, two tries. But I was at the pub on Thursday night, and I was telling people double for Stone Street. I usually say these things out of hope. When they come off, I look genius. But you always start. Once I think it was Kennedy who put him over the first try. I was like, all right. Then he had those 2 long line breaks that didn't amount to anything, because he got, I think, Purdue, who was pretty quicker than he looks. He caught him, and then someone else caught him. I was like, this isn't going to happen. And then he went over late in the game, I think 10 to go or whatever it was. I was running around. I've got a new place down at Carringbar, and I'm running around the house like it's his first try of the season. I'm pretty happy. The only problem is I didn't have money to put it on. But Stone Street, believe me, I know a lot of people love Katoa, and I love Katoa too. He's been great for us. This kid's the future. And it's nothing against Katoa. It's nothing against Ronnie. It's nothing against Kennedy or anyone. This kid has got so much speed and so much talent. If he learns the game and he could be one of the greatest Sharks wingers or players of all time. Potentially. He's only, 21, 22? He could potentially, if he's there for the next 10 years, who's to say he won't break ET's record? Based on tries per game at this present time, speed, because we haven't had speed in a long time. Build, he's still got a bit to fill out, but he's still got a decent build. And if he can work on that little bit by bit, there's no reason he can't be one of the best players that the Sharks have ever seen in the back line.
If he's here for 10 years, I don't think we're talking about him
at this current
trying
rate.
to beat. I don't think he's trying to beat an ET's record. I think we're talking about him trying to beat Ronnie's record.
I think he'd be beating Ronnie's record pretty damn easily, to be quite honest.
Well,
I reckon if he played a full season, well, that's fine. But at the same time, I think if Stone Street plays a full season, within 2 years of him playing 2 full seasons, he'll have the Sharks all-time season record.
Season
which was
record,
held by
that's doable.
My former best favourite player of all time is Valentine Holmes. Now he's dead to me because he plays for some absolute novices who can't hold a 12-point lead with 10 to go, or 12 to go, whatever it was, which was beautiful to me, by the way. So now he plays for Stone Street. Can do anything he wants, but it's all right comparing him to a kid, bloke like Katoa, who's played for the last 6 seasons, 7 seasons in first grade. You can't expect the same quality, but the way he's producing the tries, producing the line breaks, producing the hard carries at this early age, it just means good things for Cronulla. If Katoa comes back at round 20, 22, whatever it is, it's a headache for Fitzy. If Stone Street keeps playing, say it again.
Say again, CK.
They have a good headache.
Yeah,
it'll be a great headache for him. a great headache for him because, okay, you've got a kid that's got potentially going to have 15, 16 tries by that time. A guy that you know coming back that has done that for you. So
awesome.
do you give Qatar a couple of weeks in Newtown?
Mm-hmm.
And if Stone Street, because it's his first full season, do you then go, right, kid, you've done your pit. We'll get the experienced bloke in for the run home. And then if something happens to Ronnie or Sione, then you've got, right, you're back in. You prove what you can do for us. But either way, it's going to be a great headache for him, like having that kind of ability. So I've got no issues. I mean, I know people gave me a bit of stick for the Penrith game. Someone said he was out of position. I said, well, if you know how defensive shape works, he has to kind of make a decision. It's the way it is. You just give the kid a break. It's when Ronnie's doing it, no one talks about it, or everyone crucifies Ronnie for it. No one's talking about the penalty he gave away in Vegas, CK. I'm surprised you still remember that, to be quite honest. But he jammed in all last season, and people were talking about it. But now you're talking about a kid who's 10 games into his career. And even there was a time tonight where he just stayed on his man, and he learned from last week jamming in. He stayed away, and I think it was Kale that destroyed someone in the inside, because the centre didn't have the winger to go to because Sam had stayed on his man. So he's already proving that he's learning. So and you add the defensive work into the attacking work, and you've got a hell of a player there.
He's on the up
Hopefully
and up.
He resigns quite soon.
And unsigned, exactly. So let's see what happens there, because he's doing a trick for us, that's for sure. Now, we touched on Brayley's injury, and we know you're also a Nico fan. Is there something in the Nico injury? He was hobbling around a bit there in that match. Are you worried? Are you concerned?
He wouldn't have kicked the last couple of goals if there was something in the injury. No doubt. And another part from the Fitzy press conference, they asked him about Nico and how he played pretty well tonight, because I think Mick Ennis actually said something about him. Oh, he's not doing this and he's not doing that. And I was livid with Mick, because from what I'm standing, he's running the team really well. The shape that I think was the first or second try, it might have been Stone Street's first try, where he ran deep into the line and then threw it out in front of Kennedy. Kennedy took a decent grab and then just flicked it on to Stone Street. What else do you want from your halfback? Do you want him being the last pass every bloody time that a try scored? Because if he's running deep into the line and he got whacked a couple of times too, but we scored, so no one cared about it, that's what a halfback's supposed to do. Like, stop getting on his back. Fitzy even said, they asked, Nico played well last week. And Fitzy just goes, I think he played well last week, but it's getting a bit weird about the old Nico talk. Like, I don't know what you want from him. Like, he's the one that was calling plays or calling the sets against Penrith when we got back into the game. So he was running the ball for Tricky to do it. But Nico was calling the sets that were happening, and he was calling the plays. It's not all about, people have got to stop thinking stats and super coach points and all this other bullshit, because Nico is running the team well. He kicked a lot more tonight. He goal kicked tonight. I think 1 or 2 hit the post. He's a halfback. He's not going to throw that extra. Brisbane, they've got Walsh, they've got Hunt, and they've got Reynolds. Is everyone giving Hunt a crap load of talk about him not throwing the last pass, or his stats are down, or is Munster has a quiet game? Are they going to give it to him? I get that they've been there, done that, but Nico's doing what he can in the time frame that he's got. He's right. Penrith, I think he started well. He came back and he started calling the sets where Tricky went well. And I think someone said, when Kieran Foran said it on Super Saturday, he goes, Nico and Trindle are playing well together. So because when his experience with Daly Cherry Evans, if Cherry Evans is killing it on this side, you take a back seat. You allow yourself to take it. You don't have the ego. You put the team first, and you go, right, I'm going to feed it to you. You're going to do this. And the next week it might be Cherry Evans is going, Kiz is Foran's playing well on that side. Let's give it to him now. It's about team mentality. If Tricky's killing it and lighting it up, just let him go. Let him keep doing it. Let him do all the tricky stuff, and you just get the boys around the field. Next week it'll be Tricky going, Nico's killing it this side. Let's let him go, and I'll just manage the team around the field. That's what people don't see. They see, oh, he's on $1 million a season. He's got to have a try, 3 try assists, and 2 40-20s and 6 from 60 every week. No, you don't understand football. If that is your mentality, go and let him do what he does. Let him do what he does. Complement each other. If he's killing it, drop back. If he's killing it, drop back.
It's certainly a scenario where I think we discussed it on one of the previous episodes, where a lot of commentators seem to struggle with giving kudos to teams that have 2 strong playmakers. Yeah. There's a slant, and historically it's probably been true, where there is a dominant player and they get all the limelight and take a lot of the criticism. They still seem to be sort of playing that same scenario.
Jerome Hughes and Munster. Did they do that with Luai and Cleary, or is it just because Nico?
No, I think the problem with that is, again, back to that traditional dominant playmaker scenario. We're not talking about good players. Like they're both good players in Jerome Hughes and Munster, or Luai and Cleary. We're talking about a dominant player. So there is someone who is running the team and basically owning that team. In those scenarios, it's Hughes and it's Cleary. Here, they're trying to apply that same thing to Nico, saying he should be that dominant player. He should be the one that runs the team. But that's not how we play. That's not our structure. We've got a shared responsibility between our playmakers, and they're both good playmakers. So I think that, unfortunately, they are stuck in a loop and they don't know how to evaluate us in comparison to the other teams.
You look at the back end of last season after Tricky got back from his suspension. The way he started repaying the team was playing like Player of the Year, Dally M Player of the Year. The way I don't know, maybe Cleary, maybe Luai. There wasn't much of a better half than at the back end of last year than Braden Trindle. So is then Nico going to go, no, I'm the $1 million player. I'm going to take the team over. Or is Nico the selfless one and go, listen, I get the pressures on me, but I'm still going to do what's best for the team.
Yeah, I think we see that. I think we understand that. But
we all do. It's just too much crap on his shoulders. Like, let the kid play what's in front of him. Let him see, like, the first try against Penrith, I bet no one saw the double pump. That's Nico into a tee. He can double pump or he can throw it over the top, and he summed it up perfectly. But no one's talking about that. He was quiet apparently I don't think he was that quiet, especially when, I knew what Fitzy was saying based on Nico's calling the shots, but it doesn't mean necessarily translate to him being the try assister. He's the one calling the sets that they're going through. They might have different sets for different situations, and he's the one calling them. I'm going to take a back seat because I've got a try assist. I should have had 2 try assists, but then again, that side's looking weak. I'm going to give it to Tricky to let him see if he can expose it. It's footy players are so different. This is why media drives me absolutely insane, because a kid like Nico will be like, you could give him the Dally M, you could give him the Clive Churchill, you can give him 2 premierships, and it'll be, but Nico didn't play well in round 14 of year 2024, and he's not a great player.
Yep.
We're not asking him to be a great player. We're asking him to be part of a cog. We're asking him to be part of a team. We're not asking him to carry us. If we want him to carry us, we would have spent that $1 million and Adam Fanua-Blake in 3 different sections to probably get a faster fullback. Although Kennedy's playing well. I'll put my hand up. He's playing well. I don't like it because Allison's out for the season, but I'll accept it. Fitzy could have spent that money elsewhere. Yeah, you can FaceTime it. You can snapshot it. You can do whatever you want with it. Kennedy's playing well. But you brought that Fanua-Blake in to give us some go forward so he can play off the back of it. And I think in the 2 weeks, even though we lost against Penrith, you saw an improvement in Brayley, you saw improvement in Trindle, and you saw improvement in Nico. That's what you want. That's why you buy the big guy.
For sure.
So all this crap about Nico being not good or not great, I thought he was great tonight. I thought he was good and pretty solid above average against Penrith. So you want those guys doing the levels up. You don't need them playing Dally M level straight away.
Yeah.
So everyone's just going to drop it. Drop the crap. And the more we give fire to it by talking about it, I saw the show on Tuesday night, the more we give fire to it, the more we kind of add to it.
Correct.
We know what we've got. We know what Trindle is. We know what our boys are. Let the rest of the world figure it out. They can say what they want. They can do what they want. Just leave the boys alone to go and do their training. Go and do what they do.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if Nico comes in and wins a comp this year, there'll be a lot of silencing.
Love it. I'll be right there in line. All right, 2.0. Who is your 3-2-1?
3, 2, 1. Oh, jeez. Pressure. I'm going to give one vote to my boy Nico. I think he was solid. Defensively, he made quite a few good stops as well. But the way he just dictated, as I said, around the park, he was showing them around. Got a little try assist at the end. I think he was great. 2, I'm going to give it. Who do you give it to? I'm going to give it to the GOAT. I've got to give it to him. He was great all night. 1 or 2 errors, but as a young kid, you're going to give it to him. And there's a couple of players I really want to mention. 3, I'm going to give it to Kawa Iro. I think Iro was unbelievable all night. He had about 12 tackle busts at the end of the night. You know, I know people are going to say, "Oh, what about Nico? What about Kennedy?" Kennedy was fantastic. That try saver is the best defensive tackle I've ever seen him make. It's quite incredible. Like the way he's playing at the moment, it's like he's been hearing me and saying, "I'll prove him wrong." Blake Brayley was fantastic again tonight. I thought Fanua Blake was a little bit quiet, if I'm being honest, based on last week and the expectations, but he's just going to be building into the season as well. Teague was great. Ramian, I think, needs to step up a little bit more. He's given away errors. He's given away penalties. That flick pass was no need for that. But overall, it's Jesse. We expect a little bit of an error from time to time. So I'm not going to rag him on that. But you could give 3-2-1s to about at least 12 of them. I still don't know what Atkinson's doing in the team, but a little bit more minutes, a little bit more production. I think he's averaging 10 meters of carry. So, yeah, let me 3-2-1s. I went through half the team, but here we are. We got there.
Wonderful, mate. Awesome. Love your work. Always hard to dilute to 3-2-1 when it's a good win like that. So, well done, buddy. Thank you very much. And I'm sure we will talk to you through the week and next debrief.
No worries, boys. Thanks for having me. Have a good night, all right?
Thanks very much, mate. Take care. All right, CK. We have a couple more comments that came through. We've got SJD gave his 3-2-1, which is actually kind of similar to 2.0. He said 3 points to Iro, 2 points to Kennedy, and 1 point to Hines. He then says that Braden was definitely battling with illness, considering that I don't know how he managed. Yeah, I know that the commentators were certainly giving him a bit of stick for having a quiet game, and he did look busted. But I still think he had a pretty good game as well. So that he certainly put his body on the line. SJD continues with this one. How does the bunker look at 77 replays of Hess disrupting Ronnie and somehow miss it? I guess in that sense, it was more the fact that it was called a knock-on, and the only reason they were looking at that was because they challenged the knock-on, so they were looking to disprove the knock-on, and we got the ball anyway, so I think they kind of just let that one go. Well, I mean, the disruptor rule we already know is my most loathed rule in like rugby league at the moment. But we've seen a couple of examples of it creeping in this weekend. So we'll see what talking points come out of that one over the next few weeks.
Creep back in the last couple of games is the building the wall around the wingers. We're going back to players sort of standing nowhere, balls in the air. Like we got rid of disruptors and we're going back to building the wall. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit crazy. We'll see where it goes. I think there was another one that was, we'll call it missed, that went up to the bunker, and they sort of called the disruptor when that wasn't what they were looking for. So SJD kind of on the mark there. They could have definitely gone that way and given us the penalty. Will the Younger comes in, I think, giving 2.0 a little bit of stick here, saying Stone Street is clearly too slow. I mean, you know what? I would have liked to him go the distance on a couple of those long-range breaks as well. But, geez, it would have been nice to see some of our players keep up with him as well to give him some support. So I think he's clearly got a bit of toe, and happy to see him light up the field and only get better.
Williams, he was probably expecting to Stone Street to be called for a knock-on more than get a sin bin go our way. So he probably would have been screaming at the TV at that stage. So we'll take the speed in the 90-minute, or was it 70-meter game? We'll take that any day of the week. But yeah,
Absolutely.
we didn't do it justice, the break that he made, nor in backup, nor in repeat set.
Yeah, we kind of bombed a few opportunities there in this game, I think, but we'll have a bit of a chat about that in a moment. Danny Lee says that he thought it was a quality win with the Heat and it being round 2. So yeah, I'm happy to agree with that. Round 2, plus the travel from Vegas, plus the illnesses that was discussed a bit earlier. I don't want to use them as excuses. The coach doesn't want to use them as excuses, but we'll take the win absolutely. Jake here says Teague was huge tonight. Future captain stuff. Yeah, I think he was really good tonight. He certainly hit hard and stuck. It was really good to see. Thought he had a quiet game in Vegas, but this was certainly a turnaround, so it was really good. Someone else gives Iro a shout out, says he was really strong. SJD says AFB had the most post-contact meters, and Ramian made 189 meters. Good stats. I have not had a chance to look at individual player stats yet, so that's good to see. Ramian was certainly a machine in heaps of people's faces. And then Cecil comes through and says, a win's a win, 24-point victory without hitting top gear, up. So, yeah, a good win. And now, CK, you mentioned the for and against, I think, earlier on. We had an episode where we talked about for and against a little bit. Did we throw away 2 points? Was that is that something we need to worry about? Or do we say 2 points at the end of the season means nothing?
Nothing. There was a chance we could have taken the 2 from the sin bin and gone. I'm sure Boldo would have been screaming at the TV to take an 8-point lead at 16-10. So we could have gone up at that stage. Look, there's different factors that go into that. Like I said, we conceded a late try with 4 minutes to go, but we scored one where we couldn't have scored. We could have just wrapped the game up and finished the game up nice, neat in the heat. You know, we both had drink breaks in there in the first half and second half, and we could have just tucked the ball under, ran the clock out and done it, but we took another try and then gave Talakai. So we actually gained 4 points in my view. So, yeah, for and against, I look at wins more than for and against.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we've spoken about the heat and fatigue and whatnot. I have seen the completion rate, 85%. That's pretty fantastic considering what was going on there. So I think the boys can hold their heads up high there and put a feather in their cap for that one. What do you reckon, mate?
I mentioned there was a silly offload from Ramian, but other than that, there wasn't really any sort of key ones you can think of. I thought we're a bit hard done by on the could have gone a try, but I think they wanted to say the tackle was complete. So you knocked that down as an error as well. But I don't know how when Brayley's standing behind the player that it's not a backwards pass, but you know, we'll cop that one. So yeah, I think in those conditions, if anyone knows, North Queensland's pretty awful. Like I said, you can tell from me today, it was hot just in Sydney alone or Wollongong. Franko's got the caption now, wow, the heat. Like it was just, yeah, I can't imagine what it was like up there. So it would have been pretty slippery, hot, humid. It wasn't until they had the drink break. I thought it was a bit of I know it was a break and play, but we had a bit of momentum. There was a penalty given and they called a drinks break. And I was like, oh, we've got them on the back foot. Like we're on the 40-meter line. We could be in the red zone by now, ready to go. And it just, yeah, one of those times. I had to call it the 19th minute, but the players looked spent by, 21 minutes. So, yeah, good. It's pretty impressive. There wasn't too many bad ones out there. It was the Stone Street little bobble in the air goes towards a mistake as well. So we'll cop those ones.
It was absolutely fantastic effort from the guys. I think that the Brayley no try, I think if Hess hadn't have touched it there, it probably would have been difficult for the bunker take it away from them. And, by all accounts, I'm not a mind reader, but I suspect the bunker was looking for ways to take that off us, just because the sniff test, it seemed like that ball went forward. I reckon, yes, he pushed it back. They couldn't find a knock on out of Trindle's arms and the fumble going on there. That all seemed to go back, so they couldn't take that away. But it didn't look great, and so I think the fact that Hess's golden hand sort of touched it just before Brayley did, I think that sort of they could go, yep, bang, we'll call that a knock on. We're not ruling on a forward pass. No try.
Any ones I see those kind of styles, it reminds me of Matt Utai in the 2004 grand final, where he sort of buried his head and all of a sudden stopped and then dived over 2 players and scored. I was like, well, the momentum's still going, then surely, because it looked like Trindle got the ball down and then he spun, turned. So he was probably held. They probably should have said he was held before he passed the ball. But he obviously passed it. And I was like, well, Brayley's caught it back. Hess has touched it into Brayley. It's probably a try. Again, hoping for Supercoach points. But, it was a bit like, as a league fan, I'll just go, that's fair call to me. It's very messy. You can't really give a try. And referee said no try as well. So it was hard to overturn.
Yeah. So I guess exactly. Now the Mulatalo goose step, should he put that away and just try and burn the opposition? He doesn't really have the Benji style change direction. It's just sort of more of a hop and a skip. Should he just pin his ears back and try and pick a direction, or maybe do a swerve instead of this? No, you like it?
I was sitting next to my nephew, and he's a diehard Roosters fan, but he likes the Sharks. And I was like, oh, Goosey. I was really excited by it. So, but terrible shout to the Fox Sports guys. Guys, bring your cameras out when those breaks are made, because you can't see drink water for 30 metres. You don't know. Ronnie makes a break, and you can't see anyone for 40 metres, and all of a sudden he's got to put on a Goosey to a phantom, and then Drinkwater's there. Like, zoom out a little bit, guys. Give us a full shot of the field so we can tell that he's got to take on a fullback. Because if you look back in the replay, the centre and Tuilagi were absolutely jogging back. Like, it was a horrible tackle attempt by the Cowboys to let Ronnie go through that gap and take off. So, keep the Goosey. He's got to put something on. Again, it's one of those points, Franko, where where's the 3 other guys backing him up? If someone's backing him up close enough, Ronnie can have a little kick or a half chance at a pass. But, you just had to take on the fullback and try something. Maybe in the heat, Drinkwater slips off. But, keep the Goosey. It's great.
It was certainly cool to watch.
Dennon Campbell put it up on his podcast for sure for a highlight. The Goosey, he loves it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he loves the Goosey.
That's brilliant. Very cool. It was touched on a little bit earlier, but defensively, Iro was superb. Hines was superb. I think those 2 guys in particular really sort of got in front of the opposition, got in their face, really made life difficult, and in a couple of scenarios really stopped what could have been a break or a try even. So really good to see those guys standing up, both just because Hines is always under pressure to perform, and he really did here. At the other one is, if Iro had any knocks on him last season coming through as a junior or as a rookie, is that a lot of people sort of spoke about how his defense wasn't quite there. He's certainly been practicing that this off season, even though I don't think he was that bad last season, but he was rock solid tonight. He was excellent.
But the Cowboys had half little sniffs or half little breaks, and our guys were just snuffing them out, including Iro, who was probably the strongest out there. Again, backing our line, I had no concerns whatsoever. What they were trying to throw at us and how our structure was sliding and moving was great. We weren't ferocious and moving up and in. We were in the first, obviously, 5 or 10 minutes till the fatigue kicked in. But, I at no stage was I really concerned. I thought our big guys in the heat as well, Big Tooks in the middle, Kafusi as well, were really good, really strong in the centre and snuffing out any kind of chances. Because that's what the Cows, they want to try and go through the middle, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. that's worth mentioning. Obviously, Hazleton, big time, wasn't able to take the field. Tukes came in and just did a job, right? It was, I'd say, pretty close to a like-for-like replacement as you could get. What do you reckon?
Wrong. It was, again, we're talking about it. Obviously, had a crew here watching the game. I thought he was solid the minutes he did get out there, and defensively, again, he was really good. So, our no-name props really is what I like to call them. Our no-frills props in Kafusi and Tukes. They're just, they're not household names. They go out there and do their job. There's no silly offloads. There's no dumb mistakes. There's no captain's challenge. They go out and do a really good, solid job. So, yeah, shout out to those guys in the heat and getting the call up and having a play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was certainly a good call out. Now, the other person on the bench, Atkinson, he's there. He's certainly a team player. He certainly can perform. But is he there doing what we need him to do? Is he the right call to be on our bench? What's your ideas around Atkinson?
Look, appreciative because, again, those humid conditions, it was heat. He might break open the game, but it was just, it's still just a bit of a weird selection. It's, for me, your utility's got to come on and give either Brayley a break, Trindle a break, or something like that, or even, we already had Talakai out there playing some decent minutes. It's just a bit strange. I get what he's doing, trying to maybe, get a bit of speed into the legs in the last 10 or 15 minutes and a half and sort of scare the cows into making some mistakes. But it's just let's go back to the big forward rotation.
Yeah, I think, look, Atkinson wasn't on for long, but certainly showed good intent, was zippy, tried to be in a lot of things. Unfortunately for Atkinson, the reason why this is probably more of a talking point than not is because we looked so good with 4 big boppers on the bench last season, right? If we didn't impress in those matches, we're probably not talking about this because we won a premiership in 2016 by carrying a utility on the bench who really didn't have any great position or role, which is there as cover and as a bit of speed as well in case we needed it. And it worked for us in 2016. So we shouldn't be against having a utility like Atkinson. If anything, we should be, a bit of back to the future. How good is this? We've got the luxury of being able to do this with our team. But I think it's a bit of a scenario where we are victims of our own success because it did work so well having those big boppers there. And we really did sort of seem to put teams to the sword with that setup.
In the heat, it's one of those things. But as soon as I saw Hines, we scored pretty early on. Hines took the first goal attempt. I said, well, he's not under injury cloud, so Atkinson's a bit of a null and void. If we're going to do it, I'd like it would have been when with 10 minutes to go and maybe give one of those guys an early shower. But, being prideful guys they are, they're not going to come off the field and take a rest. So, don't fix things that ain't broke, so it's working at the moment. But until it doesn't, I don't know if you saw last night, Franko, but your old mate Metcalf had quite a game last night over in the Wars. But a little bit different. And he came off a real terrible game, but we'll see what Fitzy has in store playing the Bunnies next week.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens at home in front of a crowd as well. So that'll be a good one. Get your tickets now and get down and support the boys. Now, CK, I think you consume plenty of rugby league. You watch about every game you can. What are we taking out of these results we've seen both last week and this week? Cowboys were up by 42 points. We only got 38 against them. It's not that much of a difference, but still, I'm willing to just throw that bone out there for the narrative. We only got 20 points against the Panthers, but the lowly Roosters, who got absolutely belted last week, put a score on them of 38 points. The Bronx were getting done. It's just all over the shop. Where are we in the ladder? Where are we in this comp?
What we want to be. Yeah, it is a bit strange, but it's early season. Like we said, we started 2016 and won, and what is it, 1 out of 3 or what?
Yep.
Kill me if I get it wrong, but I think it was 1 out of 3 we won the start of the season. It's early days. Yeah, Manly got smashed by the Wars. The Wars absolutely bounced back against them. Obviously playing over in New Zealand, but we saw Turbo go down as normal, DCE go down. I can't explain the Canberra for not wrong, and I don't want to. I just want to hold my breath and watch and see what goes on. But they absolutely turned up the heat against Brisbane, and they had no response to it until they really had to. But they were smashing them all over the park. Again, the Roosters gamble responsibly, but if you took the $11 or I heard some higher specials going for the Roosters, good luck to you. I know one of our Sharks fans that got on there at $50 at $11 got on there as well. So good luck to you. But it looked like a bit of a hangover from Vegas. Looked like they're going to turn up and let's just do our normal job. The field was terrible, but I've never seen the Panthers team defend so poorly to concede 38 points against literally a Roosters team of made up parts of missing players, journeymen to guys on debut that had to come out and play. Even the Chad was decent. So, Chad write it off to round 2 and see, we got our win. Let's move on to the next week. I thought going into next week, I was quite confident playing South. I thought they're going to play a half-hearted Dolphins team on the effects of a flood. They go down to Wind Stadium down here and probably lose to the Dragons at 24-10. It was pretty much over. And then all of a sudden the Dragons went and had an early shower and South kicked a weird field goal from 30 metres out off the left foot that shouldn't have been taken and got the they're 2-0. So we'll take on South and see how we go.
Let's do it, boys. Benny Turner kicks in and he says that he agrees with me. He said, show Ronnie some of VT's tries. Step away. Will the Younger says we really need to improve our 13 versus 12. I think most coaches practice the 13 versus 12, but it's when you're defending, not so much when you're attacking. But yes, that is certainly something we need to look at.
First part of the whole 80 minutes was that period of the sin bin. We were under the pump. I wasn't worried the Cowboys were going to score. I was more worried how we were going to react to not doing anything with the ball over that 10-minute period with a man advantage, because we were awful. That man advantage, we were just, it wasn't even there. It's like we had a man in the sin bin, and I hate seeing that from teams. I don't expect a lot of points to pour in, but I expect a bit of dominance and a bit of, turning the screws against a team with, a bit of fatigue factor. We didn't. We were on the back foot that whole 10-minute period. It was awful.
It wasn't pretty, that's for sure. And then Munro kicks in, says he loves you, Ellie, but he wasn't great tonight. Hazleton a direct swap next week, assuming he's fit.
Footed from Ueli, some balls that he saw, didn't really make a dent. And again, off the back of that sin bin, just dropped it cold, and it was like, oh, that's what I'm playing football. It was a weird drop. It's like he dropped the ball, and went, oh, yeah, there's the footy, it's gone. It was a bizarre performance, but maybe he was one of the COVID affected. Maybe he was one of the influenza. Or he had a great time in Vegas, so maybe he was a bit sick.
We know Ueli historically has the goods, right? It's one of those things that he's shown that give him a runway and he will start to absolutely murder people. So it could be just another scenario. Come week 5, assuming we've got the luxury to carry someone there to give them that opportunity, he is certainly someone that once he's on, he will then be on unless he may get injured or for suspension or something. But if he gets to string some games together, we know he gets better and better. So I'd be keen to leave him in and just sort of try and see that happen, because we know he can do it, and he's certainly a fan favourite. All right, TK. Without letting people suffer my terrible audio or low quality video for too much longer, do you want to give your 3, 2, 1s?
Pretty quick. I think for me was more was going to fire through it pretty quick, but I've hit a blank now. It was for me was Stone Street. I thought it was a one, double try. I thought he started a bit rough, and I was like, oh no, but then he finished really well. Very handy replacement for Katoa. It's one of those luxuries we got again. So 1 point to him. 2 to Brayley was just immense out there. Had the team on the back foot, creating things, trying to get the team going forward. And again, I held my breath like everyone did because he looked like he screamed out when he got caught under that tackle and sort of limped back. And then all of a sudden I was like, nah, he's all good to go. So, 2 points to Brayley and then 3 to Iro. So I thought he was immense. Again, we've spoken on it at length. He was great defensively, scored 2 tries himself. Both were very, very strong, including the first. So, 3 to
Yeah, and then Kevin chimes in off the ULE chat. He says, unfortunately, BHU game was really poor tonight. Hope he turns his current form around. And I think that's the place most of us are at. Like, we want to see him do well. We want to see being forced for the team to BHU goes on and the opposition goes, where's the relief? So let's hope for some of that, I reckon. But we can only get that, I think, by giving him those games. And like I mentioned earlier, the luxury, if we have that luxury by winning games, we can maybe have someone on the bench there to work their way into the season. If we're losing, obviously that may be taken away from us, but I would like to see him get that opportunity and just see what he can bring to the team because, as I said earlier, we know he's got 3 1s. Well, my one goes to Brayley. I thought, like I said, was just tireless tonight, especially in those conditions. He was really good. Thought he was a bit hard done by. He tried to catch the team and some people started position, and the ref just gave him absolutely no tonight. Everything didn't get any calls go his way, so that was really quite disappointing. But he kept trying and kept turning up. So yeah, it gets my 1 point. A 2 and a 3, not to spoil things, but it's really tossed up. Iro and Kennedy. I think I'm going to go Iro for 2 points. Certainly hit hard, got the double, really performed well. But Kennedy, I think, he turned up everywhere. He defended well. He sort of silenced a few critics, I think, tonight. This is going to be a season for him. We know it's a contract season. I think he's going to be there to try and prove that he needs to be in the team. We will wait and see how that pans out, but so far I don't think he's doing anything wrong, and he's had 2 in a row. Absolutely. Glenn kicks in and he says, Kennedy was great for us. Overall, we struggled at times. Scoreline showed we dominated, but we didn't realistically take the 2 points and get back and recover. Recovery going to be a big thing for us, I think. You've got the big travel to Vegas, then Townsville, the heat. We've spoken about the illnesses ripping through the team. What do we do between now and the Souths match? Just sit in bed, cold drink, feet up, maybe have 1 hit out. What are we doing? What's the plan?
A lot of recovery going into this week. Again, like we said, it's been hot this week. Obviously, you just said in that, I couldn't imagine getting on a plane during the week and doing another camp and going up to Townsville and battling that kind of heat. A big shout out as well. We didn't really mention McGuinness was the Paul Green medalist for tonight. So he didn't get anyone's 3-2-1s out of that. He was the Paul Green medalist. So shout out to you, Captain Cam, Boldo's favourite. And again, Noakesy brought in Paul Green's kids into the up Cronulla, into the locker room to bang the esky. So good work for those guys. So yeah.
Excellent.
I think because Cam, that's just one of our luxuries. He's out there doing just his job. He's a tackler machine. He's doing his normal game. It's not outstanding, kind of like a few of our props. So yeah, he ended up with the Paul Green medalist. So good shout to him.
Certainly noticed the intensity lift while he was on the field too. So he brings that discipline and he brings that intensity that maybe the old Gallen scenario of actions speak louder than words, carry on my back, let's go team. So it was good to, especially that second stint when he came out there, he just went 100 miles an hour. So absolutely well worth the winner. just didn't get my points. Glenn then also reminds me we get a Perth after that. So lots and lots of travel for us. We've front load.
Tough start.
Yeah. If we come out of this smelling like roses, it should put us on a high stead for the rest of the season. So I think it's a good one. We have spoken, especially the last couple of seasons, about weak draws, and maybe this is a good time to sort of say, well, let's not try weak draws anymore. You can't get much harder start than this. So come on, boys, lift and so show what you got. Put that chat to bed.
Weekend, so.
Anything else you want to raise on the game, mate?
Like I said, it was shout out to Cam getting the medal and the kids in the locker room. It's always good to see the Sharks invite even before the game and after game. So a bit of a split household down there with the supporters. So, but great respect between the two clubs in regards to it. But yeah, it was a great. I'll take the 2 points every day. I thought we were in cruise control for most of the game. So let's just enjoy what we can get.
Absolutely, plenty of improvement from the boys, I think, from here. So it was a good one to put away being in front. I did say that I was worried that this was going to be one we lose. Favourites, anniversary game, the heat, the travel. It's one of those games that, hey, you know what? Supposed to win, but Sharkies kind of don't. So it was good to see that we got the job done and prove that we are sort of heading in that right direction of being that professional club where we win the games we should. So, yeah. That's it from me. Thanks very much, CK. Great debrief. Good chat. Boldo is still planning to do a deep dive on the Sharks annual report with the Solve accounting team. And we'll be back with our regular Tuesday night show. If you missed us live, comment below, jump on that Discord and pop them in there. If you're in a Discord, don't forget to put your tips in. We're going to Sharks games each round, which is a little bit of fun, so it doesn't take up much time to get in on that one. And don't forget to like and subscribe or follow, depending on the platform of your choice. And if you do have a Sharks friend, let them know about what we do here and invite them to join in the fun. It'd be great to try and build this community, which seems to tickling everyone the right way. Thanks to everyone else for listening. It's been really good here. I've had fun. Sharkies had fun. Hopefully all of you had fun too. Up, Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.